Coming up on Mountain News, first at 4, a flood distribution center in eastern Kentucky is closing its doors to the public. I'll tell you why.
And North Korea continues to fire off missiles as it breaks its own launch record.
And a beautiful evening is in store across the mountains, but we are tracking a few showers by Friday. Have your full forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts right now.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we begin with some breaking news out of Breathitt County. Family members of Nancy Cundiff say they've been told a body found last weekend is her. Cundiff, along with Vanessa Baker, had been missing since the July flooding. Baker's body has not been found. The Breathitt County coroner says his office was called out by the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources to the Clayhole community last Saturday. The coroner said the body was found along the bank of Troublesome Creek. They were not able to make a positive identification then due to decomposition, and the body was sent to the medical examiner's office. But again, family members say the body of one of the two women missing since the flood on July 28th in Breathitt County has been found, Nancy Cundiff. Big news coming from Appalachian Regional Healthcare. We are told ARH leadership has been in talks on what is next for the flood distribution center at the old J.C. Penney building in Hazard. WYMT's Dakota Makris is at that center with an update. Dakota?
The ARH Flood Distribution Center is closing to the public at the end of the business day on Friday. The Flood Distribution Center opened shortly after devastating flooding hit eastern Kentucky. So far, the center has served more than 20,000 people and more than 5,500 families. Right now, the center looks empty compared to what it did more than 2 months ago. The distribution center manager says they are reworking their plans on how they can support the community, like bringing in furniture and kitchenware packages.
So we're still supporting our ARH hospital down in Whitesburg. They have a small distribution center there that's taking care of Letcher County as well. So we'll be putting anything that we don't use for phase 2, the recovery phase with the furniture and things like that, we'll be pushing down to Whitesburg and other areas that need it.
Now, I am told ARH is continuing to take donations here at the center, and right now its biggest needs are winter coats. ARH also is having a coat drive at its headquarters in Lexington. In Hazard, I'm Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
We're told the center has seen more than 2,000 volunteers come and help out since it opened. Earlier this week, the Jackson Fire Department and Van Cleve Fire Department responded to a fire on the campus of Mount Carmel School. The headmaster of the school says the home that caught fire was the historic home of MTCS founder Leela McConnell. Now, the maintenance worker there, and his family, we're told, were living at the house.
He was out on the campus working, but his daughter, who's a college student, was home, and she called her dad and said that there's smoke in the house and it smells terrible, but it's starting to get smoky.
The home was destroyed, but no one was injured and no other buildings on campus were damaged. WYMT's Olivia Calfee will have more on this tonight at 6.
And we are live in downtown Prestonsburg for the 2022 Jenny Wiley Festival, and the weather could not be better, not only here but around the region right now. Here's a live look at 3 of our cameras over in London, Hazard, also in Pikeville, and nothing but sunshine and blue sky. A little bit cooler on the Big Sandy, upper 60s in Pikeville, middle 70s over towards I-75 in London. 75 in Somerset, 73 right now for Hazard, 71 for Jackson. It feels absolutely amazing outside right now with plenty of sunshine up on satellite and radar. You can see we are not looking at a drop on radar right now, and that will continue into the rest of this evening and also into tonight. However, we are tracking some changes, and we'll tell you all about those later on in the newscast. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. North Korea test fired 2 more ballistic missiles overnight, 2 days after launching an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan. North Korea has conducted 24 missile tests so far this year, and the pace seems to be accelerating. South Korea is calling the North's recent launches a serious provocation that threatens peace and security on the Korean Peninsula and in the international community. U.S. intelligence says the missile tests do not pose an immediate threat to the United States. CNN's Paula Hancock has more from Seoul, South Korea.
As North Korea continues to break its own missile launch record, South Korea says trilateral naval exercises are back in its waters. The US, South Korea and Japan holding drills to track and intercept missiles, a response to the North's launches.
What is the impact of all this, American aircraft carriers cruising around Korea? Pretty much nothing. It will probably make some people in the United States and Republic of Korea a bit happier. But it will have zero impact on North Korea's behavior and decision-making.
North Korea blamed their recent flurry on the US Thursday, calling them just counteraction measures against last week's US-South Korean naval drills.
It will only increase the condemnation, increase the isolation, increase the steps that are taken in response to their actions.
But a United Nations Security Council hearing this week suggested Pyongyang is not isolated. While the US blamed Russia and China without naming them for enabling North Korea, Russia and China blamed the United States for increasing tensions, a schism that benefits Pyongyang.
Kim Jong-un is doing what he thinks he can get away with. He's not expecting any kind of strong US reaction. He's letting the South Korean government and the US government know that he has significant capability.
North Korea is expected to continue capitalising on geopolitical turmoil, a seventh underground nuclear test expected at any time, if it happens, most likely after the Chinese Party Congress, so as not to anger its main benefactor. Kim Jong-un also released a 5-year plan less than 2 years ago. He appears to be working his way through that list. This leads many experts to believe that this cycle of testing will continue, especially as Kim Jong-un knows that he is very unlikely to face any more UN sanctions, while Russia and China are in no mood to side with the United States. Paula Hancock, CNN Seoul.
A rescue operation is underway in the city of Zaporizhia in southern Ukraine after a Russian missile strike destroyed several buildings. At least one woman has died and at least 5 people are reportedly still trapped in the rubble. One official says many people have been rescued, including a 3-year-old girl. The strike comes as a rapid Ukrainian advance is underway in the neighboring Kherson region. Coming up on First at 4, one Australian company finds a way to turn tomatoes into drinking water. We'll show you why and how they did it.
And we are looking at plenty of sunshine right now, but we are tracking some changes by Friday. I have your full forecast coming up right after this.